everybody. I'm Brittany Lewis, a breaking news reporter here at Forbes. Joining me once again is my colleague, staff writer Zach Everson. Zach, thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks for bringing me back, Brittany.
President Trump has vowed to put American workers first ever since he ran for president back in 2016. That could be why recent comments on Fox News certainly raised some eyebrows. He was defending hiring foreign workers, and he got in a back and forth with Laura Ingraham, the host of the Ingraham Angle, and she was talking about H-1B visas, and I want to read a back and forth between the two. This is what she said. If you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign workers. And then Trump responds by saying this. I agree with you, but you also do have to bring in talent. And then Ingraham goes on to say this. We have plenty of talented people here, and Trump retorts by saying, no, you don't. And it seems like the Trump organization could be aligned with President Trump, at least on his defense of hiring foreign workers, because you're reporting that the company requested a record number of them. Talk to us about what you found.
Yeah, so he hasn't exactly brought in tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign workers, but going back to 2018, department records that are publicly available with the Department of Labor show that his businesses have applied to bring in at least 2,033 foreign workers to come into the country to work as either servers, cooks, housekeepers at his resorts or golf courses, and as farm workers at his vineyard. So, he has a long-running practice of having done this, and we've seen it actually increase in recent years as well.
And what is the justification here? Why is the Trump organization saying, hey, we need these foreign workers?
Well, it is legal to do this. You just have to tell the government that, we tried to find these people in Americans who were willing to do this work. We couldn't do it. So as a result, we had to go out and, get foreign labor to bring them into the country to do these jobs.
I know the exchange that I quoted between Laura Ingraham, the Fox News host, and President Trump was about H-1B visas, but I am curious about the H-2A and H-2B visas because that's what the Trump organization is using here. What are the differences between those and the H-1B visa?
So the H-1B visas that they were discussing there are for highly skilled specialized workers. Like if a company wants to bring in, tech workers, engineers, the arts, that's what the H-1B visas are for. The H-2A is for the temporary ones for farm workers. So that's what he uses at his at the Virginia winery. And then the H-2B is for seasonal workers for things like the hotel, for resorts and hotels. So those are the ones that he is using the H-2B. I mean, obviously, though, if your concern is that foreign workers are driving down wages for American workers, it doesn't really matter what visa they're coming in at. You're still bringing in foreign labor who's willing to work for jobs less than what Americans will do. So by the same thought process there, Ingram's criticism there would be on target.
I'm curious, what are the rules here for hiring these types of workers? I know earlier in the conversation, you said essentially that as long as you say, hey, we tried hiring in America, we cannot find an American worker, you can get them. I mean, what are the rules in Trump 2.0?
It is a bureaucratic mess, and that predates Trump 2.0. So according to the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, what you would need to do is you'd need to get approval from the Labor Department to hire foreign workers. Then you'd have to petition the Department of Homeland Security to be allowed to do this. And then the State Department overseas would issue the visa. So you've got three different cabinet secretary or cabinet departments working on this. So as you can see, the process is, quite burdensome for companies that are looking to do this.
And when they're looking to hire temporary employees, when they go through seasonal times, I mean, are they rehiring the same person again and again, or are they getting a whole new batch of people? What does that look like?
It could be. We don't have great stats for that. The numbers that are shared are just kind of general numbers of how much they applied to bring in. We don't even know how many positions they actually filled. We just know how many workers they requested to bring into the country. So, we don't know what countries they're coming from. We don't know who these individuals are. Now, 90 countries are eligible. Some of these countries are the ones that President Trump has previously called shithole countries. There's a list there. So, it could be anybody from any of those 90 countries are eligible.
And I know you're reporting that this year they saw a record number of these requests. Why is the trajectory going up? Has the Trump organization commented on that at all?
They have not got back to me this year when I asked them on this one. So can't really guess there, but it's been a pretty steady rise. We're looking at, I think it was about 121 in 2021, up to 184 for this year. So it has grown. There were some lower years during the pandemic, of course. But like I said, overall, it's over 2,000. And during his presidency, both the first term and the first year of the second term, it's been about 550 foreign workers that his businesses have brought in.
I can't imagine a President Trump in 2016, 2017 saying, I'm putting American workers first here. And then these comments that we saw on the Ingram angle, really just flat out saying we don't have talented people here to fill all of our jobs. I mean, that's wild for him to have said. I know they are about different visas. Those comments were related to the H-1B visas. But has he commented himself on the Trump organization hiring foreign workers?
Yeah, not directly that I know of, but there was a speech he gave, oh gosh, years ago now, probably 6 or 7 years ago, maybe even longer than that, where he was talking about we need Americans for American jobs. We don't want to bring in cheap foreign labor. And then he kind of gave himself a carve out, like, except for like seasonal stuff that you might need to come in and do some farm work or, work at a club or something like that. Lost the audience with that one. Wasn't exactly a crowd pleaser. It's fallen out of his shtick. But he has mentioned the need for that sort of carve out in the past.
It sounds like that carve out's really specific to the Trump organization's needs. Did he make that specifically for the Trump organization, or has that been longstanding?
No, that's been longstanding, and there are thousands of companies that apply for this as well. So it is, the Trump organization is just one of many, many companies in America that make use of this program.
And the Trump organization, this really seems to, like we've been talking about, go at odds with the philosophy that President Trump has long held, which is putting American workers first. What does this indicate to you about anything on President Trump's stances on American workers, on foreign labor? Talk to us about it.
Yeah, I do believe President Trump strongly believes in putting America first, but he has a stronger belief in putting Donald Trump first. So, it's in his best interest to be able to bring in this cheaper labor and have them work at his businesses. So he does it, and hey, that's what his priorities are, clearly.
Well, Zach, per usual, I appreciate the conversation. Thank you so much for joining me. You're welcome back anytime.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.